What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Wednesday, March 6th, 2024, and I have another emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 21:30 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Russia and Eastern Europe. So apparently, there was an attempted assassination on Zelensky earlier today by the Russian military. They tried to hit his convoy with a missile when he was going to meet the Greek prime minister in Odessa. Apparently, the missile missed Zelensky's convoy by just 150 meters, and apparently, several civilians were killed and injured, but there were no casualties reported among the people in the convoy. There were also several high-ranking Ukrainian officials in the convoy, and we don't know if the Greek prime minister was there when this missile hit. So this is huge news, guys. And earlier today, Russia did a nationwide test of their nuclear war alerts, and they sent out emergency alerts to TVs, cell phones, and over radio waves. And they also broadcasted air raid sirens. And what's interesting is the timing of this nationwide nuclear war alert test in Russia. Okay, just 2 days ago, Putin sent a final warning to the U.S., verbally and in writing, basically telling the U.S. that if they go into Ukraine with NATO troops, then Russia will launch nuclear weapons. Okay, and this was reported by various sources inside of the Russian government. They leaked it out on Telegram. Okay, and this comes just over a week after the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, said that NATO should deploy troops to Ukraine and nothing should be ruled out. And he hosted a meeting of all NATO countries in Paris just about a week and a half ago to discuss sending NATO troops into Ukraine. Okay, so the situation is continuing to spiral out of control between NATO and Russia. It looks like we're heading towards World War III and possibly nuclear war this year or early next year. I'm thinking something big is going to happen this summer. Russia is planning a massive offensive against Ukraine. Ukraine has run out of artillery. NATO has run out of artillery. And now is the time for Russia to take advantage of that. And they're preparing a massive counteroffensive of their own. And we know that NATO is going to be delivering F-16s to Ukraine this June. And potentially they're going to get the Taurus cruise missiles. We also had the leaked conversation come out of Germany where the high-ranking German Air Force officials were discussing with the German Air Force commander how they could destroy the Crimean Bridge with Taurus cruise missiles, and that basically Germany would plan the whole thing and tell the Ukrainians what to do through a secure line from Buchel Air Force Base in Germany. Okay, so this is very, very serious, guys. This is not a coincidence that Russia is suddenly testing their nationwide nuclear war emergency alert system. Okay, so let me just play this video for you. This was in St. Petersburg. Air raid sirens were going off in St. Petersburg earlier today. right, guys. So this is crazy. Okay. We are on the verge of nuclear war. Okay. Of World War III. NATO is preparing for an all out war with Russia. They're doing exercises in Poland with 30,000 troops. They're doing exercises in northern Scandinavia with 30,000 troops. We have the U.S. Marines and the U.S. Army doing drills in Alaska right across from Russia. Okay. Preparing for a Russian invasion of Alaska. And we also have exercises going on in South Korea right now. We have nuclear bombers that were moved to Sweden. B-1s were moved to northern Sweden. Okay, guys, get prepared. Things are really, really escalating. And some other serious news today, the IAEA chief, Rafael Grossi, had a meeting with Putin today. Here we have a video clip that was posted by Russian media. Okay, there's Rafael Grossi. He's the leader of the UN nuclear agency, the International Atomic Energy Agency. Again, very strange timing for him to suddenly go to Russia now to meet with Putin in person, okay, with all these things going on between NATO and Russia, he suddenly shows up in Putin's mansion or wherever he was meeting him at. Okay, very, very serious. And we also had U.S. nuclear forces on high alert again today. 5 Boeing E-6B Mercuries in the air today. Here we have 2 that were airborne this evening, and then here we have 3 that were airborne this afternoon. So, guys, get prepared, okay? Our nuclear forces are on high alert, okay? For there to be 4, 5, 6, 7 of these planes in the air every single day is not training, okay? It is not training. Do you know how expensive these planes are to fly? We don't have that many of them. We can't be putting thousands and thousands of miles on them for no reason at all. Okay, this is serious. I personally believe that we are at DEFCON 2 right now. Okay, the same level that we were at during the Cuban Missile Crisis. I believe we were at DEFCON 2 several times over the last 2 years. We just weren't told about it. Okay, there's a lot of things that go on that we don't know about, things that happen behind the scenes that don't make it to the public. Okay, everything is kept secret nowadays. Okay, and this update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply is doing a discount on their 1-month emergency food supply. And to get the deal, you got to go to preparewithnyprepper.com, and the link is in the description below this video. This is a 1-month freeze-dried food supply. It has a 25-year shelf life, and it's all packed within 2 rugged, water-resistant buckets. Free shipping is included. $177 for 1 month of food. Where are you going to find a deal like that? They also have a general store, and they're always running discounts in their general store on various prepping and survival items. They have everything from MREs, potassium iodide, to survival seeds. And to get to their general store, you got to click on the My Patriot Supply logo at the top of the page when you get to preparewithnyprepper.com. And you'll see when you get there, they have everything you can imagine. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get $60 off the My Patriot Supply 1-month emergency food supply. That's $180 for 1 month of food, free shipping included. The link is in the description below this video. And also check out their general store. They have everything you can imagine prepping and survival related, and they're always running various discounts there. And we have this video footage coming out of the New York City subway system. You can see people are being forced to have their bags checked by New York State Police and the New York National Guard. The governor of New York is deploying 1,000 National Guardsmen to the New York City subways. Okay, look what it says here. Container inspection. Backpacks containers are subject to inspection prior to entering the mass transit system Individuals may refuse to permit inspection and elect not to enter the system. Individuals will not be permitted access to the system with the uninspected container. Individuals who refuse the container search and later attempt to enter the system with the uninspected container may be subject to arrest. Okay, so if you want to use the New York City subway system, New York City trains, you're going to have to be searched now. Okay, and I don't know if this is because the governor of New York is paranoid about people carrying firearms because the crime rate is skyrocketing in New York City and people want to protect themselves, or if there's a domestic terror threat. Okay, 1,000 National Guardsmen, guys, that is a serious number. Okay, that's a small army. Okay, and she's also deploying the New York State Police. So this is very, very serious, guys. I don't know if they're looking for, BOMBs. Okay, but remember, back in December, Homeland Security, the FBI, and the Director of National Intelligence said that the chances of terror attacks are skyrocketing now. Okay, so this is like a communist country, though. Look at this, guys. This is absolutely insane. Again, I don't know if they're doing this because they're very anti-2A, anti-Second Amendment, or if there's some kind of terror threat here. But I want to read to you what the governor said. She said, these brazen, heinous attacks on our subway system will not be tolerated. And she said, no one heading to their job or to visit family or to go to a doctor's appointment should worry that the person sitting next to them possesses a deadly weapon. Okay, so there you have it right there. Okay, sounds like this is an anti-Second Amendment thing and maybe not so much anti-terror. I don't know. But this is absolutely crazy, guys. Even during 9/11, the 9/11 years, there weren't 1,000 guardsmen there. There were maybe a few dozen, but 1,000 National Guardsmen, guys. I mean, that is a very, very serious number. And Moldova is suspending their participation in the Conventional Forces Europe Treaty. And this treaty was signed in the latter part of the Cold War, and it put limits to how many tanks and armored vehicles and conventional forces the European countries and Russia could stage and have ready to deploy. Given the significant change in circumstances since the signing of the treaty, it will be suspended with chances of resuming its implementation. State Secretary of Moldova's Defense Ministry, Valeriu Miju, said the decision was approved at a cabinet meeting that was streamed by the government press service on Facebook. The Moldova government will send a draft resolution on the suspension of the treaty to Parliament for permanent approval. And I reported last week that in Moldova, they started sending out draft notices to people, okay, to young men. Young men have started receiving draft notices. And this is all because Transnistria and Gagauzia have asked Russia to annex them. These are separatist regions of Moldova. And in 1991 and 1992, there was a very serious conflict in Moldova when Transnistria and Gagauzia tried to secede from Moldova. It was a very, very serious war, very bloody. And we have some very, very serious news coming out of the Middle East. Apparently, the Houthis have killed several civilians in a recent attack on a ship. Apparently, 2 were killed and 6 injured. 4 were critically injured in a Houthi missile strike on the True Confidence, a Liberian flagged and U.S.-owned ship in the Red Sea. This is coming from U.S. officials. These are the first fatalities of the Houthi campaign against international shipping since November. There were no Americans on board, but the incident speaks to how the Houthis are terrorizing international commercial shipping, per a U.S. official. Coalition warships have responded and are assessing the situation, according to a DoD official. The 23 crew members were forced to abandon the ship, which was damaged but has not sunk yet, per another DoD official. An Indian destroyer was the first on the scene, and the crew was moved aboard that vessel. Okay, this is very, very serious, guys. 3 people killed, at least 6 injured, 4 in critical condition in this attack by the Houthis on this U.S. owned Barbados flagged ship transiting the Gulf of Aden. Very, very serious, guys. Okay, this is the first time civilians have been killed by the Houthis, and the Biden administration has failed to do anything about that. Okay, these Houthis are continuing to launch these attacks, and those limited strikes that the Biden administration did have not had any effect. A Sukhoi 30 fighter jet from the Russian Air Force apparently intercepted a British RC 135 reconnaissance plane and 2 British fighter jets recently. This was reported by the Russian Ministry of Defense. And yesterday, a Sukhoi 27 fighter jet intercepted a French reconnaissance plane and 2 French Eurofighter Typhoons over the Black Sea. And Ukraine plans to launch a series of counterattacks this year. For this purpose, we are building and creating new groups of strike forces. Commander of the Ground Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Lieutenant General Alexander Pavlyuk, said today there was a massive kaboom at a Russian heat and electric plant in Tuva in the Shaganarskaya heat and power plant. The city lost central heating after the kaboom. 23 people were injured and 1 person was killed. The cause of the kaboom has still not been identified, but I personally believe it was some type of a Ukrainian operation, and looks like Ukraine is doing what Russia did last year when Russia was trying to destroy their critical infrastructure in the middle of winter to try to freeze the Ukrainians. Well, it looks like Ukraine is trying to do that now. Let me show you this video here. Massive kaboom. Wow, look at that, guys. Okay, this isn't something that just happens randomly. Look at that. Okay, this is an electric power plant, thermal power plant. Okay, these things don't just go boom like that for no reason. Okay, so the war is expanding. Okay, every day we're hearing of more attacks on Russian soil. Okay, the Ukrainians are starting to attack Russian soil now with drones, even with missiles potentially. Okay, I want to remind you guys that there were allegedly US F 35s that flew into Ukraine a few days ago, and they were trying to locate all the Russian air defense systems so they could shoot them out and destroy them during the next Ukrainian counterattack. Or if NATO decides to go to war against Russia, they're mapping out where all the Russian air defense systems are located, okay, in case things escalate or in case they decide to intervene for whatever reason to assist the Ukrainians by destroying their air defenses for the Ukrainians. And this could be preparation for Ukraine to get their F-16s. Okay, the U.S. may use F-35s or other stealthy planes to destroy Russian air defenses. So this way, the Ukrainians with their F-16s can successfully deliver long-range cruise missiles to destroy critical targets in Ukraine, okay? And on March 11th, Sweden will officially become a member of NATO. The Sweden-NATO accession documents have made their way to the U.S. Department of State, and it's the official depository of NATO protocols. This is the last step of the process of a country's NATO membership application. Okay, so 5 more days and Sweden will officially become a NATO member. 2 U.S. strategic bombers and nuclear bombers flew over Stockholm, Sweden today. Here you can see a picture of them. Here's a B-52 and a B-1, and they were escorted by Swedish Gripen fighter jets. Okay, so the Swedes have already extensively practiced escorting U.S. nuclear bombers, okay? And here they are doing that. So Sweden is prepared to escort U.S. nuclear bombers. And apparently, Ukraine's first lady and Navalny's widow declined Biden's State of the Union invitation. And during the winter, it has been reported by several Swedish authorities, companies, and services that there were cyber attacks from various external sources that have resulted in major technical problems. In recent days, it has intensified, and several websites have been down. On Monday, the Swedish tax agency Kivra and also Swedbank had problems. The disruptions at Swedbank led to the inability to swipe or transfer money. During Tuesday, the majority of services and websites were down. Among others, the website of Sweden's Riksdag, the Financial Supervisory Authority, the Swedish Customs Service, the Swedish Social Insurance Agency, and the Swedish Crown Enforcement Agency. The Swedish Privacy Agency and the Swedish Competition Authority were exposed to a payload attack that a pro-Russian hacker group claims to be behind. Okay, so Sweden is being attacked by cyber hackers, okay? And just 2 weeks ago, the Swedish intelligence headquarters was attacked with phosgene. Phosgene is a chlorine-based gas. It's a choking agent that hasn't been used since World War II, and it was released at the Swedish intelligence agency headquarters. Okay, and Ukraine's allies have almost entirely collected the funds necessary to purchase 800,000 artillery shells from the Czech Republic for Ukraine. Bloomberg says the shells could be delivered to Ukraine within weeks. And here we have some new video footage that came out today showing this Russian warship that was sunk by Ukrainian maritime drones, trying to defend itself from these Ukrainian drones that were heading towards it. So this happened shortly before this ship was hit. You can see the machine gun there firing. You can see the tracer rounds. So very, very interesting. This was shortly before the ship was hit, and you can actually see this drone right there going over the surface of the water. Okay, a very small drone. Look at that. Okay, so that's what Ukraine used to destroy this $100 million warship that the Russians built in 2022. And it was capable of firing Russia's favorite missiles, which are the Caliber missiles. They've used them extensively in this war. And here we have some footage coming out of Poland. The Polish farmers caused a riot in Warsaw, and here we have the riot police in Warsaw clashing with these Polish farmers. Now, I can't show you the full clip due to YouTube rules, but you can see here hundreds of riot police and farmers. Okay, so the situation with the farmers in Poland is escalating, and they started to block the Ukrainian border entirely, and there's no end in sight to that. And apparently 2 Polish soldiers died during training yesterday when they were run over by a tracked vehicle in the Drawsko-Pomorskie training ground in northwestern Poland. This is where NATO does a lot of their training with Poland. Okay, so very, very serious. And Ukrainian special forces are fighting the Russians in Sudan, according to the Wall Street Journal. The chairman of the Sovereign Council of the Republic of Sudan asked Zelensky for help after Sudan secretly supplied Ukraine with weapons in 2022. And what's interesting is the Bible mentions Sudan as one of the regions of Africa that allies itself with Russia to attack Israel. This is in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38 and 39. And French media outlet Le Monde confirms initial reports of a Russian military base in Burkina Faso. Satellite images obtained by journalists show a new site of Russian activity located south of Donsan Airport. And here we have some video footage coming out of northern Israel. This happened last night. This is the Israeli Iron Dome missile defense system or air defense system, and it was shooting out dozens of Hezbollah rockets that were fired towards northern Israel last night. Okay. So Hezbollah is continuing to launch attacks on Israel, and Israel is losing its patience. Okay. The defense minister of Israel, Yoav Gallant, met with Amos Hochstein, who's basically Biden's Lebanon advisor. Okay. He met with Amos Hochstein today and basically said, we're running out of patience. Okay. We're open to diplomacy, but we're running out of patience. Okay. So the Israelis have already blown up minefields that they laid along the border with Lebanon to allow them to go into Lebanon if necessary. They've been doing massive drills along the border with Lebanon. So I think Israel's going to go in. It's just a matter of time. I think in the spring and this summer. Want to just show you guys some flight paths from over Europe last night. Here we had about a half a dozen aerial refuelers that were flying over northern Scandinavia. Look at this, guys. I've never seen anything like this before. Okay, and we do know that right now Sweden and Norway and Finland are participating in a massive exercise with NATO in the northern part of Scandinavia called Nordic Response. And so this could be part of that exercise, or it could be something else. Okay, but this is absolutely insane. This looks like training for a bombing run. Okay, when you have this many aerial refuelers in the air, it's for a bombing mission. Okay, because bombers have massive fuel tanks. So you need at least 2 aerial refuelers for every 1 bomber. Okay. Here we have another shot closer up. You can see them doing loops here over northern Sweden. And this is when they took off. There were like 6 of them that all took off from Germany and the UK. And then they headed north. And then this is when they came back. Absolutely insane. We also had this P-8 Poseidon sub-hunter plane patrolling the northern part of Scandinavia here, checking for Russian subs. We had a lot of NATO reconnaissance activity again last night. We had a Swedish reconnaissance plane patrolling the border of Finland and Russia. We also had 2 Russian doomsday planes or nuclear warplanes in the air. There was also some strange plane that was flying over Belarus, some type of unnamed military plane, very odd. And Forte 13, US RQ-4 Global Hawk, was patrolling the Black Sea, and it's actually still in the air right now, which means that we could see some type of a strike on Crimea or possibly the Crimean Bridge soon, because anytime Forte 13 is up over the Black Sea, it's giving information to the Ukrainians about the location of Russian forces in Crimea and Novorossiysk. Okay, those are Russia's 2 main naval bases on the Black Sea. They also have several airfields there. So that RQ-4 is gathering information for the Ukrainians, either for offensive or defensive purposes. Here we have some unnamed aircraft that was patrolling in eastern Poland near Belarus. This happens to be an area of Belarus where thousands of Russian troops have been stationed since last year. At least 20,000 Russian troops are stationed here in this part of Belarus. And we still have a lot of GPS jamming going on in northeastern Poland and the Baltic Sea and over Estonia. Obviously, Russia is doing that. And here we have Forte 13 up in the air right now. So we could see something pop off tonight in this area or early tomorrow. We also have a security alert for Haiti posted by the U.S. State Department. U.S. citizens in Haiti should depart Haiti as soon as possible by commercial or other privately available transportation options in light of the current security situation and infrastructure challenges. Okay. So very, very serious. So I'm going to continue to monitor the situation for you guys. I will be back tomorrow with more breaking news. And I think I'm going to start the long live streams again. I'm probably going to do them over the weekend this weekend because I have some family that are going to be visiting me. So I'm not going to have as much time to post updates over the weekend. So I think I'm going to do the live streams over the weekend and just leave them up with cameras of Russia and the Baltics and Eastern Europe and EAMs and flight trackers. And I'll check the chat periodically throughout the day and update you guys and see what's going on. So I think I'll do that this weekend. I won't be doing many updates this weekend, though, starting Saturday and then through Sunday, simply because family's going to be visiting and I need to spend time with them. So that's pretty much it, guys. I will be back tomorrow, though, with another update. So make sure you're subscribed. Hit the bell icon down below so you get notified. And until then, take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere. Guys, if you want to learn about some of the most infamous terrorist leaders in the Middle East, you got to check out Gaza's Most Wanted. They have these playing cards and shooting range targets with all the most infamous terrorists printed on them. So this way you can learn what they look like and who they are while playing a game of poker or while having fun at the range practicing your skills. 10% of proceeds are donated to support the Israeli Defense Forces. So check them out, gazasmostwanted.com. And if you use the promo code NYPrepper, you get 5% off of your entire order. So I'm going to leave a link and the promo code in the description below this video.